Great, so we are making really good progress here. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to create the delete single contact. So let's go back to our database handler here. And at the bottom, we're going to create another method. So this one is going to be delete single contact. Very good. So I'm going to say public void delete contact. Of course, to delete our contact, we could pass the ID here, but we're going to just go ahead and say contact. So we're actually going to pass the object. That way, then inside we can probe in and get the ID of this contact object. So we're going to do the same thing. SQL database db is equal this dot get writable as such. Very good. And then I'm going to say db dot delete. There is that method from our SQLite database class to delete a contact in this case. So in delete, the same thing happens. You notice there is a recurring theme here that the delete, the updates, the inserts, they require things to be passed on. In this case, the table name, and then what is it that we're going to be deleting and how and so forth. So that is all the same thing. Once you understand the basics of really how databases work, you will see that it is easy to replicate any other scenario, as you can see right now. Okay, so string table, what are we going to pass? Well, we're going to pass our util again, table name. For our where clause, we're going to say util dot key ID, and we're going to pass equals like that, exclamation mark. And then this is where the where clause, the actual ID we're going to be passing in, it's going to go here. So I'm going to say new string array there, and I'm going to pass the contact dot get ID. It's essentially what we did before for updating. So let's go ahead and wrap it into string value there. All right, and once we do that, db.close to get rid of, to close our database. Very good. So to delete our contact, we have to pass the contact object, and then inside we're just going to go and fetch the ID and pass in our clause here, and we will know which table we are referring to, and we should be able to delete. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our main activity here. Let's see, I don't want to update anymore. Let's make sure that we not update this. I'm going to just comment this out. Very good. Let's see how can we delete a contact. Well, in this case, we have our C contact here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So I'm going to say db.delete contact. I'm going to pass our C contact, which is what we created here. And then we should have a result. So we still have context list and everything. So we shouldn't see our new Jeremy, which was updated, which has ID 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. Make sure I have everything set up there. It looks good. Let's run. Right, let's see. Let's go back to our logcat. Let's see here. We should see if all went well. Looks like we have JSON on create. Let's look for main activity. That's probably going to help. All right, main activity. Now you can see we have just the 2 JSONs because this went ahead and got everybody. Let me perhaps say get ID so you can see that this ID is indeed gone. Now, here's the thing. Whenever we change something here, we should get rid of this because it was going to go ahead and try to delete again the C, which will have ID 1, right? New Jeremy, which already was deleted. To avoid those issues, I'm going to just save this and run again. And we just should see that the first ID, which was Jeremy, should be gone. Right. See, we're having these issues here because there's no such thing with this ID. In fact, let's go ahead and go like this. All right, let's save this, give it a run again. There we go. See, now you can see we only have 2 and 3. ID 1 is already gone. Very cool. All right, so it is working for sure. Again, remember, once you delete something, do not try to add or even extract that ID like we did here. That wouldn't work because this ID was already gone, right? So if you say db that get contact 1, when we already deleted it, of course, we're going to have those problems. Okay, so comment that out so you can see this actually working and showing only ID 2 and 3. In fact, you will see if we were to add any other contacts at this point here. In fact, let's do that. So I'm going to come down here, contact JSON. I'm going to just say, come down here, let's say db that add contact. I'm going to add JSON again like that. Okay, look what's going to happen. We only have 2 and 3. I'm going to run this. You'll see we will have the ID 4. So number 1 is forever gone. Okay, let me save this and run. And voila. You can see now on create, we have 4. So JSON was indeed added. Very good. So in the next video, we are going to finalize our database handler here by creating our final method here, which is going to be the get count. Now, what is this get count thing? Well, the get count, as the name implies, will get the count of the items we have in our database. It turns out that sometimes you would want to know exactly what is the total count of items that we have saved in a particular table in a database. So that's going to be handy there. Okay, very good. I'll see you next.